Hello, welcome back to Answering Economic Questions. Today we're going to be going over Chapter 12. The first question is, what are the four parts of a business cycle? So there's expansion, peak, contraction, and trough are the four parts of the business cycle. Expansion is the increasing part of the GDP of the business cycle. This is when the peak is at the top of the graph. So imagine if there's like a wave. Expansion is increasing to the business cycle. So it's going to be this part increasing to the peak. The second one is obviously going to be the peak. This is going to be the top of the graph where the GDP hits the highest point. Later, as it slowly goes down, this is called the contractions. This follows the peak from the top. Once one thing goes up, it has to come back down in order to have the cycle be complete. And the last one is the trough. This is when it is at the lowest point of the cycle. Number 2, how do the business cycles differ from one another? They differ because they're all different periods of time in the set graph. These four parts are separate, but together they form a measurement of a country's GDP through increasing and decreasing waves. Number 3, what are at least 3 factors that shift the short-run aggregate demand curve? Number 1, a couple of them are wealth effect, international trade effect, and the interest tax effect. When someone has enough money to buy anything they want, they can stimulate the economy because they are buying more goods. The international trade effect is when import goods not produced by our country but are imported. This will make the demand for goods to increase because importing cheaper goods causes lower prices. The lower the prices, the higher the demand because people want to buy that product because it's lower. Lastly, interest tax increases the amount interest tax increases the amount of interest on loans, causing less people to borrow money. This will decrease the money circulated in the economy and decreasing the demand in goods because there's not enough money circulating by people having. The more people borrow, the more money they have, the more money they spend. Number 4, what does strong economic growth in China affect aggregate demand in the U.S.? By having China have a large economic growth, this increases the exports China produces. The U.S. would then have the ability to import more goods, causing cheaper prices for America. This would increase the demand for the set goods because the prices are so low. Because China is one of the biggest manufacturers and producers of all the countries, well, they're one of them. And if they are prospering very well, that means that they're selling a lot of their goods to us, and we are able to lower our prices because we have such a large supply from China's products. Thank you so much for listening. That was Chapter 12.